In order to accurately engage in such comparisons, we need to be able to access timely, relevant, and accurate information regarding the earnings of those doing jobs similar to ours in our own and other organizations, as well as those in jobs contributing more or less to our organization than the job we perform. Information on how pay-related decisions are made in our organization might also be helpful. Not only so that we know whether we're being paid fairly and equitably, but also to help us decide whether it's worth spending an extra hour at work to impress our boss, with the expectation that we'll see a bigger bonus as a result, as opposed to spending that time with family and friends. While the Internet and pay-related apps such as Glassdoor and PayScale have greatly democratized access to pay information, timely, relevant, and accurate pay information, even about one's own remuneration or the organization's pay-related decision-making, let alone specific details of others' pay, often remains difficult to obtain. This puts employees at a distinct disadvantage when it comes to making employment decisions or negotiating pay with a potential or current employer. Economists refer to disparities in information resources between parties engaged in a potential or actual exchange as information asymmetry. They note that such asymmetries, broadly speaking, create an imbalance of power in transactions and potentially skew the decision-making of the weaker party. Sociologists and psychologists specifically study pay-related information asymmetries, with the former interested in how such asymmetries may foster inequality and entrench disparities based on characteristics such as gender or race, and the latter in how they can influence individual perceptions and attitudes, which in turn may drive or constrain different organizational attitudes and behaviors. Although the question of pay-related information asymmetries, and pay fairness more generally, has attracted a lot of attention in the media and policy circles in recent years, the issue is far from new. Even the Bible makes reference to pay fairness. Do not take advantage of a hired worker who is poor and needy, whether that worker is a fellow Israelite or a foreigner residing in one of your towns. Deuteronomy chapter 24, verses 14 through 15. By the 19th century, the Industrial Revolution, and with it the emergence of large, complex organizations, intensified the salience of such issues. Indeed, by the start of the 20th century, employers, labor leaders, and policymakers were engaging with one another over such issues as employees' right to A. Know the criteria and processes by which pay is allocated in their organization, B. Receive information regarding average or median rates of pay for particular positions in their company, or even individual employees' actual pay, and C. Share or discuss their own pay information with others. Fast forward a century, and the same stakeholders are continuing to struggle with the same questions. The main difference between now and then is that we now have a small but growing body of empirical research able to inform and guide decision-making on these questions. In particular, during the past 2 decades, scholars from economics, psychology, sociology, management, and law have explored the issue from different angles, aiming to get a handle on the possible implications, and in particular, possible unintended negative consequences of various transparency-related reforms. One set of questions concerns how pay transparency might impact interpersonal and labor management relations in organizations. For example, might pay transparency lead employees earning less to resent those earning more, impairing teamwork and cooperation? Might managers respond